Hey there, Jenn, Dize here for Status Coup, and Bernie is in trouble with some of his supporters today, and I'll be curious to see what you all think about this as well. It all starts with an AP interview that Bernie Sanders did. Let's take a look. Sanders says opposing Biden is irresponsible. Ooh, your hackles might be raised already just by that headline. I personally think that they are sensationalizing and twisting what Bernie Sanders actually meant, but let's read the article itself. Bernie Sanders said Tuesday that it would be irresponsible for his loyalists not to support Joe Biden, warning that progressives who sit on their hands in the months ahead would simply enable President Donald Trump's re-election. And again, I really think that they are twisting what Bernie Sanders said, and we will get to his exact quote. Unless there be any question, the 78-year-old Vermont senator confirmed that it's probably a very fair assumption that he would not run for president again. He added, with a laugh, "One can't predict the future." Sanders, who suspended his presidential bid last week, spoke at length about his decision to endorse Biden, his political future, and the urgent need to unify the Democratic Party during an interview with the Associated Press. He railed against the Republican president, but also offered pointed criticism at his own supporters, who have so far resisted his vow to do whatever it takes to help Biden win the presidency. He seemed to distance himself from his campaign's former National Press Secretary, Briahna Joy Gray, when asked about her recent statement on social media refusing to endorse Biden. So I want to show you real quick what that is referencing. So this is the tweet that they are talking about of Briahna Joy Gray's. "With the utmost respect for Bernie Sanders, who is an incredible human being and a genuine inspiration, I don't endorse Joe Biden. I supported Bernie Sanders because he backed ideas like Medicare for all, canceling all student debt, and a wealth tax. Biden supports none of these." And that was on April 13th that she tweeted that. So this, I have to say, even though I disagree with a lot of people like Crystal Ball and Kyle Kulinski, I in general agree with them, but on their kind of take over what Bernie was saying overall in this article, I disagree with. But I take major offense kind of for what Bri Joy Gray, I feel like Bernie Sanders threw her under the bus a bit with this statement that he's about to make. I don't like this at all. He should not have said it, and I feel bad for Bri because she has been one of his strongest advocates, one of the best people on his staff, and I think this was just kind of low of Bernie, and it makes me sad. So what Bernie said was, "She is my former press secretary, not on the payroll," Sanders noted. A spokesman later clarified that all campaign staffers were no longer on the payroll as of Tuesday, though they will get a severance check in May. So that's all he said about Bri, but I just think saying that in general, "She is my former press secretary, not on the payroll," he's obviously distancing himself from Bri, and I don't think that's fair. She's done so much for this campaign, so much for the movement, because not me, us. Bri really embraces that, and so for Bernie to throw her under the bus like that, I don't agree with that, and as I said, that makes me really sad. Sanders said, so this is the part that we really need to pay attention to when it comes to the kind of debate. Do you remember that silly meme that went around years and years ago with the dress, and it was either like, I can't even remember now because it was so silly, but it was either like, do you see this dress as blue or do you see this dress as tan, or whatever it was. And people saw the dress in different ways. And that's a silly comparison for me to make, but I hope you get what I'm trying to get at, is that people are seeing this quote of Bernie Sanders's in different ways. So the quote is, "Do we be as active as we can be in electing Joe Biden and doing everything we can to move Joe and his campaign in a more progressive direction? Or do we choose to sit out and allow the most dangerous president in modern American history to get reelected? I believe that it is irresponsible for anybody to say, well, I disagree with Joe Biden, and therefore I'm not going to be involved. So a lot of people took this in a variety of ways. I personally do not take it as him saying it's irresponsible if you don't vote for Joe Biden. The way that I take it is how this person named Karishma Mehta takes it. Bernie didn't call us irresponsible for not blindly supporting Biden. He said sitting out, not pushing our progressive agenda, and not using our collective power to influence Biden is irresponsible. I hear no lies. We disagree with Biden. Cool. Now let's go do something about it. So let's read that quote again in context now. Whoops. Do we be as active as we can in electing Joe Biden and doing everything we can to move Joe Biden and his campaign in a more progressive direction, or do we choose to sit it out and allow the most dangerous president in modern American history to get reelected? He continued, I believe that it's irresponsible for anybody to say, well, I disagree with Joe Biden, and therefore I'm not going to be involved. I strongly believe that Bernie Sanders was not calling you irresponsible. If you're not immediately like jumping on board the Joe Biden Amtrak train, I strongly think that what he was saying is it's irresponsible to just take your ball and go home. Not me, us. For his supporters, for progressives, it's important to keep fighting. You can't just sit on the sidelines and say, oh, Joe Biden's going to be the nominee now, and I don't like Joe Biden or his policies. I don't like that there's a rape accusation against him. I don't like that there are several sexual harassment allegations against him. So I'm just going to sit it out. What Bernie is saying, in my opinion, is you can't just take your ball and go home. You have to keep fighting for the policies that matter. And in fact, Bernie Sanders is still calling for people to vote for him. He wants to collect as many delegates as possible. So if your state hasn't voted yet and you're a Bernie Sanders supporter, he's telling you to still vote for him. Still vote for Bernie is what Bernie is saying. He's not calling you irresponsible if you don't vote for Joe Biden in this primary. He's calling people, or calling the act. I don't even think he's calling people irresponsible. I think he's calling the act of sitting on the sidelines and not doing anything to fight for progressive causes, to fight for Medicare for all. I believe he's calling that irresponsible. And you know what? I completely agree with that assessment. It is irresponsible. If we want things like Medicare for all to pass, we can't sit on the sidelines. Progressives can't just sit on the sidelines. I know I keep saying sidelines too much. Sorry about that. Progressives have to keep fighting. I think it's true that Bernie Sanders dropped out too soon. I don't think he should have dropped out. I think he should have gotten more concessions than these 6 task force groups or whatever they're going to be called in the end. We don't know much about them right now. Bernie has to get more. Bernie should have fought for more, but that's for another video, and we have talked about that in the past. But for right now, what we're talking about here is keep fighting. Keep fighting for free public college. Keep fighting for the environment and against climate change and for a Green New Deal. Keep fighting for a $15 minimum wage. It should probably be $20 minimum wage or more at this point. Keep fighting for all of these causes that make up the Not Me, Us movement. That's what Bernie is saying. Bernie's not calling you irresponsible. And a lot of people have a different take on this than I do, and different take than is in this tweet that I just showed you by Charisma. Crystal Ball, for example. Crystal is saying, I know the media will never understand this, but the moment, excuse me, let me restart that. I know the media will never understand this, But this moment right now, with Bernie trashing his own supporters, is exactly why he lost. He was more committed to maintaining power for Dems than claiming it for his own movement. Again, I don't think Bernie's intent, and intent matters, is to trash his supporters. That's not Bernie. And I know people are mad. I was reading Reddit, and I think this was in the Way of the Burn subreddit. And this Reddit user, Gus Because, said, "I'm not respectfully refusing to follow his lead. He calls me irresponsible. I call Bernie despicable for trying to herd his supporters into voting for a lying, corrupt, warmongering billionaire puppet with dementia. I have zero respect now for my former hero, Bernie Sanders, and I wish to hell I could get the money back that I donated to his sham progressive campaign." Another user, FishTroller02, said, "I felt like I had been gut punched when I read Bernie's response today. For him to participate in vote shaming is just awful, beyond awful. I just don't know what to do with my feelings about this." So I get it. People are frustrated with the fact that he endorsed Joe Biden in the first place. I'm frustrated with that as well. But what we know about Bernie is that he views Trump as the threat. He views Trump as an existential threat. And Bernie is such a good person that if there's absolutely anything he can do, anything in his power to defeat Donald Trump, he's going to do it. That is his main focus. And I think he believes that nothing else, those progressive policies that we fight for, they can never, of course, happen if Donald Trump is the president for another term. So that is what he is focused on. A lot of his supporters are different and focused on different things and aren't willing to bow down to the Democratic establishment, aren't willing, like Brianna Joy Gray is not willing to endorse Joe Biden because he does not support those things that she so vehemently supports. And that's okay. This is America. This is democracy, or it's supposed to be democracy. We can have differences of opinion, but I don't think Bernie Sanders was throwing all of us under the bus. I don't think he was calling all of us irresponsible who are not willing to vote for Joe Biden. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments what you think. It's good, I think, to have a back and forth discussion about things like this. I do strongly believe that if we just fall in line behind Joe Biden, fall in line behind the Democratic establishment, if that's what progressives do, we'll never get concessions. So protest is good. Fighting for what you believe in is good. This movement is not about Bernie. This movement is about all of us and what the people of this country need so desperately. Again, curious to know your thoughts. Jordan is still sick, still taking a break from doing videos. If you haven't seen, he has coronavirus, unfortunately, but he is starting to feel better and better. And we're hopeful that there won't be, sometimes they say that, you know, it starts up again, or like there are ups and downs. So we're hoping that he's on the upswing for sure. Please keep your messages coming for him. They help so much. info@statuscoup.com. You can send those. We also have our free trial of Status Coup membership up. So you can join at statuscoup.com/join. Free for 2 weeks. You can cancel at any time. We've posted a lot of behind the scenes videos, video diaries. Jordan has a video diary. Even though he's sick, he did a video diary for you guys talking about his health and talking about everything. So join, statuscoup.com/join. Love you all. I'll be back with more videos very soon. Bye-bye.